I spend the last few messages, maybe over the past week and a half. There's been a couple of them that I've really dedicated to the concept of time and how to make them the most, and how to leverage, how to be most effective and prosperous with our time. Because time is one of the three most powerful resources that we have access to. As I've said before, it's time, it's energy, and it's knowledge. Those are the three resources that make all the difference to every part of our being. Our physical, our mindset, and our spiritual. And when you think about how much time do we really have in a day, we have more than we realize. A lot of times we think to ourselves, man, day just went by, flew by. Hopefully it's flying by for you because it means you're immersed in something that you're passionate about or enthusiastic about, or that you're deeply connected to or you're dedicated to, such that the time's just flying by. As opposed to it being a drudgery. And it can be as well. But we often think to ourselves that, man, I just wish I had time to do this. I wish I had time to do that. If I had more time for this, if I had more time for that. So if you think about structure and routine, and a lot of us love structure and routine. A lot of us really dig the concept of having a discipline plan for a day that we follow. Much of our day, though, if you're working for a living as an employee and not an entrepreneur, if you're an employee, about 9 or 10 hours of your day is a structure that has been imposed upon you, right? So it's not one that necessarily you've created, but that's been given to you, and you're following those directions. So there's the type of structure that's handed to you that you follow as a blueprint, typically with respect to a job that you're doing. So figure you got 9 or 10 hours of that. Then you got 6, 7, or 8 hours of sleep. So what does that leave? Let's just say, let's round it off. Let's say 9 hours for the job, 7 hours for the sleep. You got 16 hours, that leaves 8 hours. So you got 8 hours in a day where you can self-impose a structure, a routine, a plan, a strategy, a discipline that you can follow to be as prosperous and as productive as you can possibly be for the three most important things. Yeah. The temple that houses the breath of Yahuwah, the Most High, He who creates all things. The mindset, because you want to have a wholesome, productive, positive mindset. And then the soul, the heart, the spirit, which is guided by the Ruach HaKodesh, the set-apart spirit, in surrendering to Yahusha, the Most High, Yah, who is manifested as the Savior, Yahusha, Yah, the Most High, who creates all things, Shah, salvation, Yahusha, the Most High, who delivers, the Most High, who redeems. And surrendering to Him completely and asking Him to guide you, to direct you, show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases Him most, and receiving the Word, understanding the way, the truth, and the life. The singular commandment from which all wonderful, prosperous, wholesome, good things spring, from which all the other commandments spring, from which all the ways in which you can better yourself and better your people spring. To love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your fellow man as you love yourself, is your guiding value, your guiding principle. And when I say you, I mean me. I'm talking out loud. If this resonates with you, phenomenal. I'm telling you how I live my life. I'm breaking down what I do that has helped me in so many ways, that has healed me, that has strengthened me, that has made me more resilient, more disciplined, full of self-control, full of robust dynamism, good health, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, robust, dynamic, in the name of Yahuwah. Yahusha, praise be His name. But you got 8 hours. 8 hours to be productive, 8 hours to be prosperous, 8 hours to devote to nurturing yourself so you can nurture your people. Imagine that. Nurturing yourself so you can nurture Yahuwah, your relationship with Yahuwah. Praise be his name. Your connection with Yahuwah. Praise be his name. Your love for Yahuwah. Praise be his name. Imagine having 8 hours a day. When you look at it like that, that's a lot of time. Then you have to think to yourself, how much of that time are you spending on distractions and diversions from otherwise valuable things to build your spiritual connection with Yahuwah Yahusha, to build your temple, to strengthen it, that houses the Ruach, the breath, keep yourself strong and healthy for your people, and to empower your mindset with good, wholesome, productive, clean knowledge that'll help you produce good fruits, help you plant good seeds so that you reap a rewarding harvest. How much of that 8 hours that you get, let's say an hour and a half of that is spent every day eating and consuming food. So now you got, right? By the way, if I'm going to have any distraction, it's going to be there. So look, we're all human, we're all imperfect. We all like to distract ourselves, divert ourselves from the harshness and the insanity of this illusion, this mirage that we call life. It's not the real, but it's the life that we're living in this false reality, in this hallucination that's been spun up, that's being cast as a projection, and that we're trying to navigate, and that's susceptible to all the whims and all the whispers of the evil ones and the corruptors, misleaders, and deceivers of this world. So we have to protect ourselves from that, and we have to really scrutinize what we see, what we hear, what we know. Have to scrutinize it. Have to really peel back the layers and connect with Yahuwah Yahusha, with his eternal transmission, to receive the word and see the zeros and the ones behind this. Because when you are saved, when you come into Yahuwah Yahusha, when you walk in the light, for he is the light of this world, such that the darkness cannot overcome or comprehend, such that you no longer stumble around blind in the darkness. Now you hear. He who has ears to hear. Those who have eyes to see, you will never unsee, and you perceive. And once you know, you will never unknow the truth, the real. The reign of the power and the glory of Yahuwah. And once you see that, you know that this is just a mirage. But what we do here does count. And so we're put to the test here. This is where we have our crucible. This is where we have our challenges. This is where we stand tall in the face of all hardships, of all pain and suffering. We knowing that in the kingdom to come, that there is everlasting joy, everlasting healing, everlasting love, everlasting peace, and everlasting life. No more pain, no more suffering, no more death, no more murder, no more war, no more misery, no more illness, no more disease, no more Hashatan, Satan, Lucifer, or demons of this world. Crushed beneath his feet as he lives amongst us once again, and where we can love him, honor him, glorify him, praise him, and worship him with all our hearts, souls, minds, and strength in a manner that pleases him most, because we are made perfect once again, like we were when we were in Eden, before we were misled for the first time by the serpent, by the dragon. But now we wear the armor of Yahuwah, such that we're impervious and impregnable to the slings and the arrows and the spears and the daggers of the evil ones of this world. So we walk tall and strong. We cannot be touched by that any longer. We cannot be swayed by it any longer. The Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah that lives within us, like a force field, we wield it, dissolving all the evil, negativity, wayward frequencies, evil whispers that come our way. We dissolve it with the Ruach, wielding it like a sword, wearing the helmet of salvation. Strong. But if we're ever going to take a break from this illusion and cast another illusion amongst the illusion and watch TV, watch a film, listen to some music, you know what? I'm doing that either while I'm eating, right? So doing two things at once. I have to eat, So you know what? I could distract myself. Typically, I'll distract myself once a day. While I'm eating with my wife, we'll watch a 45-minute show, a series that we're watching. And typically, I'll only watch a series, even though it's fiction, of something that is a good metaphor for life, a good parable for life, something that has some redeeming qualities. Not gratuitous violence or sex. Not interested in it. I want a good story with morals and ethics and teachings, even though it's fiction, something I can take away. Okay. So I allow myself that distraction. And if I'm walking, which is one of my workouts during the day, I'll listen to a podcast. But the podcast I'm choosing, again, has redeemable qualities. It's teaching me something, so it's building my mindset in some way, shape, or form. So that leaves what? Hour and a half for eating. Out of an 8 hour, we got 6.5 hours to be productive, to be prosperous, to devote ourselves and dedicate ourselves to building our minds, to building our bodies, our temple that houses the Ruach, and to nurturing our connection with Yahuwah Yahusha and the spirit and the soul, with his teachings, his parables, his phrases, his life story, and the teachings of his disciples and his apostles, his Talmudim, his taught ones. So we have a lot of time to create a structure, to create a routine that will serve us so we can serve Yahuwah Yahusha and so we could serve our people. And that's a structure you want to be passionate about. That's a structure you want to be in love with. That's a structure that you want to be excited about, that you want to be enthusiastic to embark on. Every single day you want to look forward to those 6 to 8 hours where you can really, really invest, where you're not just working a job as an employee, doing something you got to do to pay the bills, but where you can really invest in building yourself and moving closer to having your best mind, your best temple, and your best connection with Yahuwah Yahusha. So I've never actually, well, I shouldn't say that. In the past, I've put pen to paper and I've built myself routines and I've built myself structures and I've put down goals and I've put down ambitions and I've put down targets. But my best structure, my best routine, my best blueprint, my best plans have just come from living and figuring out how to organize those 6 to 8 hours in a way that's really going to feed my mind, feed my temple, and feed my soul, and just get closer and closer to the ultimate word, the way, the truth, and the life. And it's empowering, people. It's empowering. It fills you with a level of excitement, enthusiasm, and robustness. So if you're trying to build that blueprint, if you're trying to work on that plan, you just figure those 6 to 8 hours should be dedicated in some way. Again, like I'm saying, you might want to take away a distraction. We're all human. We need a break from this illusion, from the harshness of this false reality. So fine, lose yourself in a TV show, a movie, some music, whatever it's going to be. Again, I like to do 2 things at once, so I'll build it into the time when I eat or when I walk. But again, you got 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours. So minus the hour and a half for eating, you got 6.5 hours to put together a plan that just does those 3 things. Right? That's all you got. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to write it down. If you want to write it down and it helps you, fantastic. But what is that 6.5 hours built around? Keep it simple. It's built around strengthening the temple, your health, your resilience, the body that houses the Ruach. So be robust and dynamic and strong so your people can lean on you. The stronger you are, the healthier you are, the more robust your temple, the more good you can do for your people, and the better you can serve Yahuwah Yahusha. And then part of those 6.5 hours building the mind. And again, you could use the extra hour and a half while you're eating, so you can have full 8 hours, right? In that hour and a half while you're eating, you could build your mind. You can increase your knowledge. You can infuse your psychology with positive, powerful concepts and ideas and ideals and principles and values and teachings and lessons. And then there's the soul. There's nourishing that soul, just like you're nourishing your temple, just like you're nourishing your mind, nourishing the soul with the teachings and the words and the phrases and getting closer and closer and closer in your relationship with Yahuwah Yahusha. This is those three pillars right there, those three pillars. It's also your character, right? You want to build, so there's really four pillars, right? You're building your temple, you're building your mind, you're strengthening your soul and your connection with Yahuwah Yahusha, and you're strengthening your character. But your character will get strengthened through building the mind, building your connection with Yahuwah Yahusha, and building your temple. So ultimately, that's the core. So you want to build your plan, you want to build your blueprint, you want to build your structure for those 6 to 8 hours around those three things. And if you're doing that, man, you're going to be alive, you're going to be strong, you're going to be robust, dynamic, filled with positive energy, filled with enthusiasm. It's like an elixir for strength and resilience, and you feel electric and alive when you know every day, putting aside the sleep, putting aside the job, that you've got 8 hours to be your best self for yourself, so you can be your best self for your people and your best self for Yahuwah Yahusha. And if you think of the hierarchy of it all, again, the hierarchy of it all, you love Yahuwah, the Most High, He who creates all things, He who breathes life into all things, Yahuwah, Yahusha, the Most High who saves, manifested in the flesh as our deliverer, as our redeemer. To love Him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your fellow man as you love yourself. Those three, inseparable, bound together. Yahuwah, the Most High, you, your people. All three need each other. We need all three. Right? Nourish yourself, you can nourish your people. Nourish yourself so you get closer to Yahuwah Yahusha. Love Yahuwah Yahusha so you can love yourself and you can know yourself, know your true self, know your spirit, know your mind, know your body, know your heart, know your people. Again, all three, all is one. Abba, the Father, the Son, manifested in the flesh as Hamashiach, the Messiah, the Spirit, the breath of Yahuwah that lives within you.